A familiar annoyance prompted Reed Hastings to reinvent an industry in 1997. He recalled getting a $40 late fee for a movie rental in this 2005 appearance on Charlie Rose.
I remember I didn't want to tell my wife about it. And I thought, oh, great, now I'm kind of compromising the integrity of my marriage over this late fee. So, of course, I did tell her about it. But it made me think I can't be the only one who is struggling with this late fee thing. And just started me thinking about the internet and DVDs and how something could work without late fees.
The movie rental industry made around $8 billion a year, nearly all of it from the dominant format of the day, VHS cassettes. Hastings saw the opportunity in a new format and a surprising new business, DVDs by mail. But first, he had to find out if the discs could survive the U.S. mail.
So I stuffed a bunch of CDs, and you couldn't buy DVDs then. Mailed them to myself, and then I had to wait for 24 hours to see them come home, to see are they going to be all shattered into bits along with my idea. And then, you know, the next day at 3 o'clock, the postman arrives, and I rip open the envelopes, and the first one's in good shape, and the second one's in good shape, and the third one's in good shape, and I'm like, this sucker is going to work!
In 1998, Hastings launched Netflix as the first online store to rent DVDs. Current Redbox president Mitch Lowe was a co-founder.
We started in an old bank building. In fact, our inventory was in the old vault. There was about 7 or 8 people. Everybody was dedicated to figuring out how to do something disruptive in the entertainment distribution business.
They stocked up on DVDs from retailers like Best Buy. But there was a problem. Less than 1 in 100 households owned a DVD player. They cost nearly $600, and no one knew when they'd become more affordable.
He committed everything to DVDs. If DVDs didn't happen, he's got the company's nothing. It's zero.
Blockbuster and Hollywood Video dominated the industry, with thousands of retail stores in almost every neighborhood. If Hastings wanted to compete, he had to build a better customer experience. So he innovated with an idea, an easy-to-use subscription service. For a monthly fee, members were allowed as many movies as they could watch, with no late fees.
He realized having to resell the customer every time is a bad idea on a $3 transaction. And he eventually got the company to go to the subscription model, and I think that changed everything for him.
That change was boosted by 2 popular features: the queue, a list of movies that the user wanted, and computer-generated recommendations that were surprisingly accurate. Michael Pachter has followed Netflix for 10 years as a research analyst with Wedbush Securities.
The internet ordering mechanism and interface was innovative, the recommendation engine was innovative, and the queue was innovative. And I think where Netflix really thrived early on was they were first to figure all this stuff out.
But for all their innovation, Netflix was still barely on the radar. Their revenues of $5 million at the start of 2000 vanished next to Blockbuster's $4.5 billion, 900 times the size of Netflix. In a bold and clever move, Hastings went for help to his biggest competitor.
Everybody loved Blockbuster, and Blockbuster was the golden child, and Netflix was sort of this ugly stepchild that was coming up, and everybody thought, well, this thing's not going to last, it's not going to have legs, it's going to die.
We were having challenges as far as acquiring customers, and we saw Blockbuster as the greatest single source for rental customers. So we actually reached out to Blockbuster and invited them to become a strategic partner and an investor.
Blockbuster, the entertainment giant, found it entertaining. John Antioco had been Blockbuster's CEO for 3 years when Netflix came calling.
We thought, well, if we're going to get in this business, we probably shouldn't give the internet rights to another company for a couple percentage points. And that's what caused us to keep evaluating whether we wanted to enter the business or not.
I think that Netflix was very lucky that Blockbuster, who was the sleeping giant at the time, didn't do anything. They stayed asleep. As Reed is a gentleman. I think if you had a different CEO at Netflix who was a little bit cockier and a little bit more brash, I think that Blockbuster might have been provoked into competing.
There didn't seem much reason to compete. By the end of 2000, Netflix was hemorrhaging money. Their losses skyrocketed to $57 million.
It just sounded like another dot-com idea, you know, like e-toys. And most investors were just convinced Netflix was, you know, a niche-y little idea. People didn't want a subscription and it would never take off.